Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing the new Honda Pilot Black Edition. This is a vehicle that I've been living with for the last week, so this will be a little bit more in-depth on the impression side of things. Before we get into this video, as always, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 19 around town and then 25 on the highway, with power outputs being 285 horsepower and then 262 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see how it's just flat there on the center, and then you've got these kind of like very boxy body lines on either side. Really cool with the turn signal indicators in terms of the design there. You can see the blacked out trim down below. Black Edition badge there in the grille, with the grille being all blacked out, hence Black Edition. But yeah, with the contrast with the red and the black, I think it looks really sharp. Now our tire and wheel setup is 255 by 50 by 20 in the front and over in the rear. And you can see here with the wheels completely blacked out again, hence the rest of the Black Edition package. Same thing with the mirror caps. Now I left this treat for you guys because I have never seen a bird disrespect a car more than, I mean, look at this. That is crazy. That is either a very sick bird or a very large bird. I'll give you guys a view of the other side, but I thought it was funny because again, in all my years, I've never seen anything quite that massive. But there's your clean side profile. Anyways, all craziness aside, we've got our lock and unlock function, remote start. We got the opening for the rear hatch, Honda logo there in the back. And the hatch is kind of slow to open, but not too bad. Now, the Pilot, just like most three-row SUVs in this segment, has a decent amount of storage behind the third row, but it's not massive. And then we've got more storage underneath. You can see here to close the hatch, you can use that function inside. You have a little 12 volts. And then you can throw down the third row seats if you want even more storage. So that has the practicality. And notice the third row passengers get a little vent, cup holder, USB port as well. And legroom, look at that. It's not terrible, but again, I'd still reserve the third row for kids. The headroom's actually really good because of the boxy design, but the biggest thing is just that legroom is kind of a little bit more cramped, but for a young one, not bad at all. Anyways, just press that and that will lower the hatch right back down. Now taking a look at the tail lights here, if they'll show up on camera. Lighting's kind of horrible. Yeah, I think the design there is pretty cool. Again, everything's all blacked out here in the back. Again, with the badging. There's the rest of the rear. And this, of course, leads us inside, where we do have a sunshade built in from the factory. We've got this kind of like soft touch trim, same thing down below. It's cool with a little window control. I like that. And then this trim piece is nice. Here are the second row seats. Pretty fancy. They do have a bunch of adjustments. It's nicely labeled. And then getting in's easy. Quite a bit of legroom. It's a little storage pocket. We have some interesting vents back here. You guys can see with the heated seats there. And then we've got our climate controls as well, USB ports, and all of that. And then the center does rob a little bit of headspace, but it's not bad. And then this leads us up front. So we actually have some nice soft touch trim here at the top. And then also down below, it's even softer where you're gonna rest your arm. All of our window controls here. Mirrors, they power fold in. You also have memory seats with this package. Blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. And then you can see it says Black Edition there. But yeah, nice trim with the rest of the seat. Of course, power adjustable. Memory seat function, should have given that away. Got the opening for the hatch, and then your stability control. Steering wheel is manually adjustable. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, you can see we've got nice soft touch trim all around. You got the stitching there in the center in red. Paddle shifters here in the back for the 10-speed. Bunch of practical controls in the front, including our adaptive cruise control with our lane centering, volume and voice command controls. See regular stocks here on the back. And then you do have this nice digital gauge cluster, which will display different information depending on what you have selected. And it's customizable on both sides, which is cool. And then you've got so many different drive modes. Now this is obviously for mostly off-road conditions, but yeah, it's crazy how customizable that is. Now this does come with a 360 camera system. Trajectory lines turn with the steering wheel. Pretty good resolution overall. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, pretty quick response time with this as well. Everything's easy to use. You've got some physical shortcuts on the side and then a volume control. The only thing I'll knock this for is it does have that just tablet on the dash design. But speaking of the dash, we do have a heads-up display. We also have nice soft touch trim all across. We got a little bit of storage above the glove box, and then of course more in the glove box. Some nice red stitching here on the outside. We've got dual zone climate with heated and ventilated seats. A little storage area down below. The camera will focus on that. Anyways, wireless phone charging pad too. Some cup holders here. Transmission select here. We've got our drive mode down below, hill descent, auto stop, start, parking brake with your brake hold. And then big center console. I like this trim here on the top. I think that's nice. Rear view mirror, and then we've got the controls here for the panoramic sunroof. Now here's our window sticker, and this must be like a misprint because it says platinum white for the exterior color, but this is the window sticker that came inside this. This is a manufacturer car, so sometimes there's goofy things happening. Anyways, $56,130 is the MSRP. See how it performs. Well, visibility over the hood, both mirrors, dual blind spot monitoring, the rest of the rear, and well, let's set off. Honda Pilot Black Edition, or just the new Pilot in general. This is kind of like the fancy pants, loaded up interior, loaded up this and that version, but really cool car, actually. Really cool car. There's a lot to like about the new Pilot. First of which is the seats. They're firmer, but despite being firmer, they're a pretty comfortable seat overall. I think that Honda's done a really good job with the overall setup here. It's nice. It really is nice. And then on top of that, smooth, including the transmission. The engine, right, you got that nice NA V6 push right off the bat, which is always just a great experience. But on top of that, I wonder if this will get off. Maybe that'll get some of the maybe that'll get some of the bird poop off the side. It's so funny. Yeah, it's just boom, clicks in and it just moves. It's really impressive. I really like it. And it's got a lot of good features, right? You've got the phone charging pad, which the only downside about this is it kind of holds your phone in. It's got these like ridges, but you go over a big enough bump and it'll kind of pop out of the pad. But yeah, everything's very easy to use. This is one thing I do like about Japanese cars in general, is they don't try to overcomplicate things too much. Like the physical buttons are all there, nicely labeled. Infotainment system, same thing, nicely labeled. Not the fanciest, but again, easy to use. And so they've done a good job. And the storage is great. Like the center console is huge. A lot of vehicles in this size category do not have good center consoles in terms of space, but this is very impressive, if you ask me. And then some other stuff with this. It's pretty quiet with the overall insulation. They make the Trail Sport version, which is a little bit louder with the tires. This still has like a cool look like the Trail Sport, but then a little bit quieter with the tires. So there's kind of that big benefit. And there's not really anything bad to say about the Pilot. And the cool thing about this is the V6. I think the V6 is something that a lot of people are missing in some of the other automakers. Like, you know, Toyota, for example, with the Highlander, you've got 2.4 turbo. They do give you the option of some hybrids, but one of, you know, it depends on the Highlander you get. But like if you get like the regular Highlander, not the Grand Highlander, then you're looking at just a 4-cylinder hybrid, right? You can't get a V6 anymore. Used to. So it's kind of cool that Honda's still offering this. And the thing that's interesting in this segment, because of the size of this SUV, there's not really a benefit to going to a 4-cylinder turbo. There is the benefit of fewer emissions, but for someone who drives it, you don't really get any better fuel economy. A lot of times the fuel economy is actually worse with the turbos because it has to work so hard because it's such a small engine and such a big automobile. But either way, let me know what you guys think about the Pilot in this Black Edition package. I think this is worth it if you're looking to get a, you know, cool, loaded up Pilot, right, with all the features. But if you want, in my opinion, the coolest like looking Pilot, I would say probably the Trail Sport. The only downside about the Trail Sport is you don't get cooled seats. This does have cooled seats, so it's got a little bit more when it comes to features. So I'll get you guys an acceleration up here just so you guys can see the V6 power, and then we'll cap things off with today's review. And I figured I'd do this drive because this drive's a little bit more scenic than the... I mean, they're all scenic down here, but the other one's a little bit less scenic than this one, I feel like. Got the pretty mountain views there off in the distance. So... look at that. It's not bad. It's not bad. Let me know your thoughts.